researchers, from legal industry, from industry like banking, could come today on this platform where the entire stem cell society or stem cell industry is blooming, like sun setting on it. Probably this conference of 2 days is going to, hope, come out with some solutions from a common voice of this group which is going to bring and reach to the government. Most important is that this evening I am not going to talk any kind of political talk to you. Basic scientific research, what stem cells, how they are going to help to the humankind. Most of them know everything about stem cells. What is more important, we once upon a time fiction stories, we used to hear fairy tale stories. It is not possible, it's not possible.
Now I'm going to upload it.
In the current scenario, as Rajan very well mentioned, it's not a future science, it's the science of today existing. But we need to accept and go ahead. So these are becoming facts for all of us. In fact, looking at outline, I have put a very brief outline because everybody knows about stem cell. I need not stretch it more. But more often my talk will concentrate on autologous part because autologous itself covers at least 70 to 80 types of diseases which can be treated, which otherwise proven therapies what we talk about, where we fail to treat them, we don't, at the ultimate, we accept that we cannot do anything for them. If the healing powers of his own body he can use, nothing better than that. Before we go ahead, I would like to take a legendary video for you. A person who has worked on the cosmos through his life. He's explored the entire universe. He has given you a theory of black hole. He has given possibilities and complex situations of the universe. In his own words, what he says about stem cells. Stephen Hawking. He explores your personal galaxy of cells in your own body.
There's another universe that fascinates me. The one hidden inside our bodies. Our own personal galaxies of cells. Today, we are on the brink of a new age in medicine, where we will be able to
heal our bodies of any illness, all of it, because of cells inside us which have special powers. They're called stem cells.
If a person of his caliber can show us a gateway of what is happening to the world in future, where he says these are microscopic workers, relentless working in your body. Whether you know or don't know, they are busy in their own world. This is a dynamic world, whether you accept or don't accept. They are keeping your homeostasis of your body functional. If these cells were not there, probably would have not reached to the life expectancy what we are today. This is what we should learn from this talk. Most important, where does the stem cell come from? This is the most important question. We talk of all stem cells, but where do they come from? It's a small story of gestation of a fetus. A ovum and sperm leads to the birth of a master cell of your body. This is your master cell, what we call as a stem cell. Embryonic stem cell. The first story came out like Dolly the sheep cloning stories. All they started from here. 1:2, 2:4, 4:8. They reach to the stage of blastocyst. Embryonic stem cells having the total power of regeneration, who can clone your entire body again. The best part to learn here is that as these cells become specialized, From here to morula, which gets engrafted in the endometrium, they start losing these powers. The biggest problem here comes in. The gift of specialization is losing the powers of regeneration. The more you specialize, from morula stage, starting comes the specialization of the cells like muscle, kidney, liver. This is where we should understand what makes them to lose these powers. Entire world is doing research on this. What is that which makes them lose this power? If you see, after 9 months of gestation, a fetus fully blown with 9 months is born. But what has happened? This fetus has lost all the power of regeneration. He has got only power of repairing now. He can only do the repairing jobs. He cannot regenerate the organs. Whereas, if you see in the embryo, there's an article which I come across, which is called as Scarless healing. When you take an incision in embryo, whatever the big, even if you ampute the stump of a baby, embryo baby, it completely regenerates. The baby gets the feedback without any scar formation. Thank you. Without any scar formation. But the same baby, when it is born, it has lost the power. What does it make? Here lies the secret of stem cells. We go back. Time and again, when subsequent slides will come, I'll show you what are those power in a primitive animals. As you are born, we have only adult stem cells. The only pluripotent cell what we can get in the human body is in the testes. Spermatogonial stem cells, which has got a plasticity more than mesenchymal stem cells. Otherwise, these cells, they come to the function of repairing of your body through bones, bone marrows and adipose tissue. The cells which are used in the organogenesis or organ development from a small child to the adulthood are utilized. Rest of them, they go and deposit in the adipose tissue, whereby we call adipose tissue the richest source of MSCs. But never forget, our organs which were very small when you are born, by the time you come to adolescency, they are grown up. The reason is that every organ has a niche. That is called as a niche of a stem cell. These are some of the slides which I want to just show as a power of stem cell. I don't think they are required for anyone of them because everyone is more often educated here in the stem cell therapy. This is one slide which I wanted to show where the power comes, the stem cell lies in the testicular cell pluripotency. Rest of them remain only multipotency. This is what I was talking about, the niche. Every organ has a niche. Niche is composed with the niche cells as well the stem cells. Now what is that maintains the homeostasis of every organ? How the organ is being grown up to the extent what is it required, and why at that stage the growth stops. This is what the most research is required in stem cell. If we can get the answer to the question, possibly most of the problems in stem cell therapy can be mastered. Why in a niche a stem cell divides by a symmetrical division and asymmetrical division? When it divides with a symmetrical division, it differentiates into maintain the homeostasis of the organ, thereby the body. Every organ has, these are called as multipotent adult stem cells, which are having a multipotency character. They maintain the homeostasis of that organ. Whereas, when they divide symmetrical, they create and maintain the pool of stem cells what is required for further maintenance of the organ. This is what the secret of stem cells in your body is. If you understand this particular part, probably we can come out lot of good therapeutic applications in stem cell. What is that which makes stem cell to stem cell talk? What are those signals? Why the stem cell divides symmetrical? Why the stem cell divides asymmetrical? When does it happen? These critical questions. If we can get answers to this question, possibly we can develop wonderful therapies. We can even save the organs. We can develop the organs as we want it like. In this particular niche part is that the niche cells play a very important role. Without niche cells, stem cells cannot multiply. Because niche cells are the one cells which protect the stem cells from getting wrong signals from the entire body. They only filter the signals what that cell has to do, when has to do, what is the role of that cell to be divided. Along with that, extracellular matrix is most important responsible for the cell division. These are the questions when we talk of therapy, we need to answer ourselves and then tell the therapeutic part. Excuse me. Now the second part, after seeing the role of stem cells in the therapeutics, we should also understand why in the current scenario we are talking of stem cells. As Dr. Puri very well mentioned about the problem of patients, which he could not do in a proven therapy for thousands of patients. Likewise, there are n number of conditions, n number of systemic diseases, where still today we don't have any solution. We put in the proven therapies in research millions in dollars, but still at the end we come to a molecule which cannot cure the disease, it can just treat signs and symptoms. Without that, we cannot do anything. You talk of autoimmune diseases, you talk of cardiac diseases, you talk of cancer, which is postpone the metastasis. But ultimate fate remains with the death with the cancer. With all the possibilities of getting into research, what is being done today, we are escalating the cost of treatment. But fate of the disease is not changing. Fate of the disease remains the same. We are getting a life, extended life. We are living more than 70 years, 75 years. But how many of them healthy? They are all carrying their aging diseases. Because we are not treating the disease, we are just treating the symptoms and signs of those diseases. So all these limitations looking at this, I always call this a health crisis. We are in a health crisis. The entire globe is suffering with the health crisis. Without having any solution, we are spending billions and billions of dollars. It is not in India, everywhere globally, in the pharma industry you take, health industry take, money is poured like anything for not having solutions. Globally, if you take these untreatable conditions where only we talk of signs and symptoms, we spend thousands of dollars. You talk of US, you talk any part of the world, no solution to this disease. When I talk of this, I need to have a solution this. What is that we can have? We can have regenerative medicine. We can have regenerative medicine therapeutic applications now. This is one science which has brought innovations. If you remember, if you can read the Albert Einstein's sentence, we can't solve the problems with the same kind of thinking we used when we created them. From this we should understand, if you don't develop a parallel thinking to a current therapeutic applications, the health crisis will eat away the entire human mankind without any solution coming in. So when we talked of this, time and again I told you, when the slide comes I'll talk about it. Go back to primitive animals, a couch or even a salamander. The power of regeneration, what they have is completely developing back the injured limb, injured eye, whatever the organ is lost. To the extent 4 to 8 weeks, the entire organ is developed and the organ gets the function also. Even if eye is gone, he gets the vision, normal vision. Have you ever thought, I spoke about embryo, similar powers. What these animals are having. What is that these animals have got extra than us? What is that the cell communicates to each other? How do we talk to our bodies? Is the biggest question mark. If we solve these problems, possibly we can reverse the biological clock of our cells. That also will come when we speak about the iPSC cells. Now, if you see the slide, it comes in between. The healing cells rush to the amputated limb. They bring in immediately the bleeding takes place. The healing cells rush there. Each of the cell starts functioning to regeneration. The neural cells, the muscle cells, the bone cells, all of them start functioning together, and the entire limb regenerates. This is not something very difficult job. Only thing we need to learn the language of cells. If we get to understand what they talk, which are the signals they are passing, the solutions can come in. As I said you, when we know the healing in animals, primitive animals, as well as in embryo, the two things most important which are seen in these cases was one, IL-10 in embryo, which was found to be a higher level, one, and polarized macrophages. These are the two major things which they could find to give the maximum healing power or regeneration power. But as we specialize ourselves, we lose these powers. Now, in the current scenario, I'll show you what happens. I'm showing this only because how we apply stem cells in therapeutic applications. One should understand. When an adult, when we know the embryo what happens, or a primitive animal, when an adult gets an injury, the cascade of reaction takes place. This cascade says the bleeding takes place, clot forms, inflammatory cells come in, migration of inflammatory cells, proliferation of the cells takes place, differentiation of the cells takes place, different cytokines, chemokines are laid down, remodeling of ECM takes place, and a scar is formed. This is what we got a gift of repairing for a specialization. Now, if you understand the complete slide of this, if you remove from this line complete development of a scar formation, and in place of inflammatory cells which come in a picture, which happens in a primitive animal, which happens in embryo, put in regenerative cells here, put in polarized macrophages, IL-10. I think some of the answers we can get it. We need to have a lot of research on this. This tissue will have a potential of regeneration, not in repairing them. Potential of regeneration. If this happens, then we have a dream which is wildest to have our organs regenerated is not far away for all of us. When we also talk of the ratio of stem cells, when we talk of therapy, as I told you, the newborn